Lesson 1. Welcome back. Hi everyone, it's me again, William E. Linney, and here in Lesson 1, I want to point out a few things to you that will be very helpful as you start the book. First of all, this is a continuation of getting started with Latin. So from the very beginning, we're going to be using all the words, all the grammatical elements, all the stuff you learned in getting started with Latin. We'll be using all that stuff right from the very beginning of this book. So we're assuming that you know all that. For those of you who have not read Getting Started with Latin in a long time, maybe you read it a while ago, we have little review boxes, like the one at the bottom of page 1, called Quick Review. And in the Quick Review boxes, we want to review things that you may have forgotten or that I didn't cover well enough in Getting Started with Latin. If you're reading the ebook, it's just on the next page after that particular lesson.
You know, and if I can just add, Bill, review is really important when you're studying for any subject, but especially with a language, it's a cumulative process. You're always building on the things that came before. There's very little that's not related to stuff from the past. And so don't feel bad if you have to go back and you have to review the whole book or half the book or any material whatsoever that you feel like you just want to reinforce, because we also can only do our best to guess what's going to be needed for you in quick review. Every student is different, and we can think about general tendencies when we set up our book, when we set up reviews, and even when I have set up materials in the classroom. But you have to be in charge of your own learning. That's why this book uses a one thing at a time method, which is what brought so many people to the first book. Isn't that right, Bill?
Yes, many Latin textbooks out there teach you lots of things all at one time. And in the classroom, with an experienced teacher guiding you, that might be good. That might be doable in a classroom with an experienced teacher helping you to break that material down. But for you, the listener, you're at home learning on your own. If you're listening to this right now, you're probably a self-taught person or a homeschooler. So you might not have an experienced Latin teacher to teach you things. That's why I arranged this material in such a way where you just learn one thing at a time, so you can successfully learn at home and have little successful experiences with the language. And before we leave Lesson 1, I want to remind you of one last thing, and that is to use the recordings. Not only these recordings, the ones you're listening to now, which are the author's commentary recordings, but also the pronunciation recordings. In those recordings, you'll hear two people, a male and a female voice, talking back and forth, recording those exercises for what they are, conversations, silly conversations, but conversations that you can listen to. And the idea here is to listen to them over and over. Once you know what the exercises are saying, once you know how to read them and you can understand them, listening to the recordings over and over is going to help internalize the language into your mind.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, Bill, because if I, get on these recordings and I start saying to you, blah, 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 because it's all words that you don't know, you're not going to internalize anything. But if you've already gone through and read the exercises and you just hear that over and over and over again, it will stick in your brain.
It's just an extremely effective way to just get the language internalized into your mind. And again, that technique is listening to and hearing exercises for which you already know the meaning, listening to things that you understand and know. That's the extremely effective technique.
And we also have a beautiful thing here because we've limited the vocabulary that you have.
So it's an extremely gradual increase in words, so you can keep on understanding everything, because in each lesson we're only adding one new thing to understand. So that keeps you from getting lost, and it prevents you from falling behind. It allows you to succeed and to successfully do each new lesson and to proceed on and keep moving forward.